I'm not ready. I'm wow, I just ran so fast. I'm not ready. Hang on. Hello, everyone. James True here. I'm not quite ready. Hang on a second. Got my water. Got all my stuff here. Let me see. Here. Hope you guys are doing great. I'm excited. I'm just not ready. That's all. Sometimes I overestimate how long it takes to be ready. Yeah. Hi. Happy Thursday. My name's James True. I'm live. So are you. Good to be here. Fast times at Parkland High. At Epstein High. That's what I called it. Wait. Fast times at Parkland High. Let's call it Parkland High. Let's do that. I think Parkland's better. Okay. Oh, James, you're not allowed to change the episode or the thumbnails. And you can't use AI. What are the other rules? Guys, I'm sorry. I was hard on you. You guys are hating on the AI. And I didn't allow you to do that. I'm sorry. I get it, man. I think we're all living in the garden, you know. We're all doing what we can. We're all doing what we can to survive. So, you know, and you're gonna have angst about stuff. We discussed last night that angst is chemtrails. Speaking of which, last night we did a radio show, took some calls. Still bumpy as far as me learning how to master that. I am really torn, guys. I really like... I have a show for you, by the way. I really like the night format, and I really love the morning format. I like them both. I'm having a hard time deciding. I think I'll just let the viewers decide. We're going to let how many views it gets. But in order to not confuse things, in order to... there's a better way to do it. And I think the way to do that is to have the night show on a different channel than the day show. The night show is more talk radio-esque kind of. We do some, a few music breaks, but mostly it's talk, people come into the Zoom and present something. There's sort of a cute little Ask the Oracle thing. There's really great stuff. Yesenia, if you're out there, I just love what you bring. The questions you pose, it's like you're teeing up some really great conversations. It just really does well. Our wonderful host, Stretch, you may know her in chat, has her own wonderful channel, co-hosts this and kind of helps the Green Room stay along. So anyway, all that to say, I think we're going to move it to Dojo Earth. Dojo Earth is a YouTube channel that I also own. And I started it a while ago. And, oh man, I don't think I'm going to be able to switch over there. I bet it'll break the stream or some weird thing. I really need to get this link to you guys. Here we go. It has been 3 years since we've streamed over there. That's pretty amazing. But if you guys are into the nighttime radio talk thing, please click on the link that I've just placed in the description and hit subscribe. And we'll move the nighttime stuff over there. The airship that you're used to. We do an airship meeting where it's a Zoom meeting where people can come, and we sort of turning that into a talk show. I think if people don't like it, we won't. But we got a lot of views last night. People seem to be into it. So that's what's happening. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, 3 years is wild, Nathan. That's a long time. Yeah, the resurrection of Dojo Earth. That's right, Emil. I think there's enough time, enough for the people. My group likes to have a lot of cleansing. So typically in the past, I was talking about this morning. Typically what happens is that a mod, the first one, his name was Nick. I don't want to even bring it up. I'm just telling you that was the first guy's name. The mod wanted to start like a cult in New Mexico, and they were going to go build a well, and he told people that he owned this property that he did not. He did not tell me this. He told certain softer-minded people, we'll just say, in the group, that he had this land that he owned, and that he was going to dig a well there, and that they were going to start a sovereign culture. And I started to notice that his behavior was kind of a little bit sus. He also was a mod. I'd given him authority, gave him a wrench, right? That's what happens. You give someone a 16 by 16 pixel wrench, and they turn into Thor. I'm just going to tell you, they turn into Thor. Yeah, cults in Mexico, 3 years ago. And so those guys are heading out. And on their way out, I got really concerned because the two guys that were with him, I felt that almost responsible for them, because I sort of anyway, it's when you're in your 20s, when you're 18, 19, when you're in your 18, 19 and COVID-19 explodes, you got to be careful who you're talking to. And I think I had an umbrella of trust because of my life, honestly, the way I live my life. I'm certainly not perfect. I've got a lot of problems with my own confidence, my own level of ego, all that stuff. None of that's off the table. But the point is that the mod was kind of acting out of hand. He started forming his own group. He called it Vitriol Sandwich, and he was inviting everyone but me to these dojo meetings. And anyway, I let it do. I thought it was fascinating because I was just watching the dynamics. I think I run sort of a dojo, whether I like it or not. Personalities come in that are new. They really want to learn. Some people we've talked about this. Some people want to be a vandal. Some people want to be a charlatan. Some people want to be a hero. Some people want to be a security guard. These are all modes, genders, you could call them, in fact. Oh, look at that, James. Yeah, they're genders, in fact. And that you could interact and dance in all these ways. And that when the mods come, this is why I love having airship, honestly. It's the turmoil, although it's certainly turbulence. Sometimes it costs me a lot. I think overall it just leads to a rich experience. And people who are in the dojo get to watch and learn. They get to watch from their own behavior. They get to interact themselves. One of those was a great mod who, her name was Lorna, and she was like, she still is. She's a wonderful soul. Still is a wonderful soul. In fact, I've never shit talked to her. She's always told people, he's shit talking me. And Lauren, I've never shit talked to you. I think you're wonderful. I think you got a great vibe. I think that you decided to defend Nicholas and you made the wrong call. And when you watched what Nicholas started saying to everyone else in the group, you kind of saw, fuck, I backed the wrong horse and you lost. And so then you had to leave because you're like, well, fuck all these other people, because you couldn't just say, wow, I backed the wrong horse. James, you actually finally cut that guy off because it was fucking necessary. Now there's this weird abandoned baby one of these kids found. They ended up halfway out there. They're calling me on the phone. They're just like, what do we do? And I'm just like, guys, you're in the car with a dude that fucking fooled you. You don't dig a well in New Mexico. Don't you think it's weird that he didn't ask me about this? Don't you think it's weird that all this is supposed to be secret, that you're supposed to be doing this stuff? Now you're calling me for help? This is exactly why I was worried about it. I'm giving you guys way too much information. Point is that that's just one. That's just one. A couple years later, we had another one. Jeremiah was his name. Wanted to be mod. Was doing great. Could not swing a sword. Fucking wimp. Could not swing a sword. Refused to block anyone. And so sometimes there's like really shitty behavior that you got to ixnay to. You have people coming in to the Telegram group asking questions. They've never been here. And people started attacking them. Like, you fucking noob, or what are you, a woman? Just weird. I'm just like, wait a minute, you guys don't like women? It's like, what are you guys doing while I'm on the show? And they're in there in the Telegram living their life. They're finding dilation. They're interacting with each other. These mods come and go. There's only been like 2 of those that have been like called the splinter, but the splinter helps because Lorna was able to bring everyone that kind of wasn't really into it. They sort of want just, it's kind of like Captain Feelgood. Fair weather friends is a way of just interacting, and most of culture, I don't think Lorna is a fair weather friend. I think she's just her own cultural icon. And so it's kind of a problem for her to be, see, it's like she comes under my sequoia, just meaning the tent I have, and then gets really big because I'm like, look at you, look how tall you should be. And then they get tall. And then I've told you this before. They're like, well, I have to hate you now. And then they push away. And so if you look at the wake of people, they're always scratching their head when you're like, well, what did James actually do to you? And they're just like, and typically they say, it's the way he talked to me. And yeah, after 8 months, after every month me writing you a note saying, hey, as mod, I need you to fucking swing a sword, dude. This kind of behavior is not allowed. Too many hyena, I'd say a lot. 8 months later, I'm going to fucking swing a sword. And really, honestly, the only reason why people have a problem with it is because they're sensing my own insecurity of whether I should have this power. We discussed this yesterday. When you raise up out and you start to see the truth of this place, the giraffe has a long neck because it has to. It's like, dude, cut my head off, cut my head off, cut my head off, because I will not keep my nose down here in the tainty smell of this hyena pit. And so you keep cutting his head off, and the hyena's head grows taller. Hyena's head grows taller. Hyena's head grows taller. Now you have a giraffe. You just invented giraffe. Way to go. Now you're a giraffe. That's me. People are like, James, you're always saying you're a lion. Bitch, I always say I'm a giraffe. I fucking like giraffes. Birds land on me. I got cool spots. I got a weird tongue. I have an odd number of toes. Fast times. Did you guys subscribe? Did you guys get that? Yes, you do need a long neck to get there. Did you guys get that? Yeah, Mel saw it too. And we saw it not because it's like Lauren's not a horrible person. Lauren's a great person. Lauren's a great person who stood her ground on this instance. The last group that left, in reference to, we'll call it Gnomes Odyssey, guys, as soon as the Jason Brashear thing happened, those guys were defending Jason Brashears. They were like, how fucking dare you fucking do? I was just like, guys, Tom, you told me you were in jail because you were wanting to beat up pedophiles, that you went to jail so you could beat up pedophiles. And now you're out here telling me that I suck because I'm insulting Jason Brashears, who's a sexual predator. So I thought you went to prison to beat these people up. And so you see, it's the fair weather kind, because this is how church works. Guys, I'm not supposed to be a person. It's not fair. My head's probably huge. In the sense of you're looking at me on a screen, it's a one-way conversation. How the fuck are you supposed to connect to that? This is why I have Airship. You can come to Airship and we can talk one-on-one. I need you to talk one-on-one because you're not going to learn judo any other way. Dojo Earth is a dojo, and people set it on fire all the time because it's so effective. It works so well. This is why people leave with such a taint. I've destroyed their cosmology, and they don't like it. I don't like it either. I wish that everyone was Osiren. I wish that everyone was hallucinogenically friendly to each other. To where we could walk in a coffee shop and dude's dressed like Jesus and you're dressed like Jesus, and said you guys looking at each other going, what the fuck, dude? You laugh and you're like, we're Jesus friends. We're dressed in the same outfit, you know? It's hard because we've placed so much importance on our identity, but then we put on the fashion facade of other identity. Then we found someone that looks like us, and sometimes that freaks us out. Sometimes it makes us feel better. Most of the time it makes us feel better. If you've got a weak ego, that's going to make you feel better. If you've got a strong ego that you're working on getting stronger, but you're stuck in the hyena taint smell of everything around you, it's not going to feel good. And you're constantly going to be going, James, how do I keep my posture up? How do I keep my posture up? The answer is you need to fucking move. The people around you are eating you. And the second you feel the cannibalism that people are eating you, it's not the time to move. It's the time to realize how rich of nutrients you are. You are chronically full of calories, and people eat that because you are good. You are good. And quite frankly, you're staying in this relationship, you're staying in the apartment building, you're staying in the cubicle, you're staying in the neighborhood because you do not have enough self-worth. You need the proof that fish are constantly eating the outer layers of skin and it tickles to you, but you don't realize if you stay in the water long enough, you'd turn into bone. You'd be bone. They'd eat all your flesh away. And so what you thought was love, these little love nibbles, that's not love. They are eating you. It is love. But you're ready for a higher form. You're ready for a different vibration. You need to grab the joystick of Mem. I need some of you guys to look that up because so far this episode has not been demonetized. But I need you to grab the joystick of Mem and don't let go. Grab that joystick and say, there will be no light cake. I'm going to hold this. The blue balls is Hades, guys. It's Hades saying, look into the blue haze. See the deep cobalt. And after a while, the blue balls goes away because you learn to move that energy up your tree. You learn to move it. And when you do that, when you learn to level up, you're going to look all around you and you're going to say, these people suck. And James True is going to be one of them. And I'm going to suck because you were in my dojo and you grew so fucking tall while you were here that you have to kick off my trunk. My trunk's that big. I've seen it. I just verified. It's huge. Fast times at Ridgemont High. Parkland High, excuse me. Fast times. Fast times at Parkland High. Guys, I need to tell you a few things about Parkland. It's been a while. Parkland is a school. It's formerly Parkland. Now it's called Douglas something or other. And really, really famous incident happened there. And you and I know it as the Parkland school shooting. And it involved a feller by the name of Nicholas Cruz. And I was new to my writing columns thing. I didn't have a live stream at the time. And I do what I do. I notice things about the news. And one of those things that I noticed, oh my gosh, guys, I just realized I have to show you something else that I did not get. One of the things that I noticed was how many oddities there were in reference to Parkland. When I say oddities, I was still a lot more afraid. I saw a lot more chemtrails. I'll put it this way. I could only render chemtrails. I couldn't really render anything beyond chemtrails. And so I tended to look at things in sort of a kind of a scary way. I appreciate you guys letting me get this ready while we're talking. I tended to look at things in sort of a scary way. And I could only see things from they are out to get us. And they are out to get us. Thank you, Rachel. They are out to get us. Rachel, you're always helping the show out. Thank you. The show is brought to you by Rachel. Seriously, she's always helping the show out. She's always like, James needs some groceries, and appreciate that. The a lot of weird things about it, and because I was on the chemtrail fear train, because I was seeing a lot more fear, they are out to get us, the deep state. I just slipped out of it's not the deep state, it's the whole thing, and I was just terrified. I was terrified. This is what the ego does when it raises up, right? It's the same thing. Thank you so much for saying I'm not muted. I was just sitting here wondering, am I muted? And there's Earth First Space Later going, you're not muted. I hope you're talking to me. And this is gonna blind you when you're terrified. And Parkland blinded me, but I still saw. This is me reaching into the giraffe bag and trying on a new visor. And what I noticed that I thought was odd was this is the Secret Service was there at Parkland. It was like, why is the Secret Service there? And I developed a term, red flag. Oh, geez, what was the term? It actually worked. Can I find this? Term. I called it red flag law. Well, red flag logs, red flag politics is the idea that, and keep in mind, the FBI is professional. I know we like to make fun of them, but the feds are a lot more professional than the sheriffs. The sheriffs are a lot more professional than the local police. There's a state board of investigations, right? Then there's the FBI. So whether you like it or not, the FBI is the cream of the crop. And being the cream of the crop, they are going to honestly have a longer vision, predatorily speaking. And if you know who Chris Hansen is, Chris Hansen's a guy that says, To Catch a Predator, that dude. And Chris Hansen is famous for creating, thought I had a graphic of him, creating situations where he catches the predator before the predator actually does something. And to me, this is really tricky. I don't actually understand how this is legally possible. In fact, I'll be straight with you. I don't think this is legal. I do not think it's legal to have a conversation with someone who's pretending to be a minor but is actually not a minor. I'm just saying, if you look at it strictly from the law standpoint, there is no law broken here. And we have a television vigilante service that hunts down predators because we love to hunt pedophiles. I mean, who the fuck wouldn't, right? Let's fucking hunt. Let's cook pedophiles. Let's have a pedophile smorgasbord. Let's put their heads on pikes. And okay, maybe I'm a little bit too much. Is that too much for you? Okay, well, just tell me how much predator hunting you want to do, because what I see is that it's not legal at all. It's a social act. It's witchcraft. It's Witchfinder General. And I say this because most local law enforcement agencies are allowed to do this. They are allowed to plant something that is not true. It would call this word narc, and to have something happen. And the idea is that we have to fish for the bad guys because they're everywhere. And I don't dispute that. I don't dispute that. The lawyer in me, I have no law degree. I simply claim my grandfather's law degree by inheritance. Wow. Yeah, guys, if you believe in epigenetic wisdom, and you have to, I have a law degree. You know, that just hit me. You guys, you're probably like, wait a minute, I have a master's in engineering. Yeah, you do. One of you has a doctorate in psychology. This is fucking awesome. We should probably take a break on this, but I'm not. When you get to be elite in the FBI, you're hunting different fish. You're looking for different things. And so just as Chris Hansen hunts a predator, and again, sidebar, I don't think that's even legal, so too would the FBI hunt shooters, hunt gunmen. If you see nothing but deep state evil, you're not going to see that maybe the FBI is just made up of people like you and me. They're just a little bit more tight-wound, of course. They've dedicated a lot of their lives to reaching the elite status in their field. And so they could be looked at as clergy, as people that are really deeply invested in the church of the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Now, I don't think anyone in that outer church thinks that the FBI is there to do evil things. I think that they all go there just like all of us go to any church and think, oh, we're a good church. We're great. We're going to go in. We're going to yell at people that have blue hair, or we're going to yell at people that don't have blue hair, right? but we're okay. This is how any church would work. So if you can let go of the chemtrails just long enough to see this, you could compassionate the FBI as people that are just kind of really, really into law enforcement. So much to where they probably dope like Lance Armstrong. It's going to be impossible to be the elite in law enforcement, the same way it would be impossible to be the elite in bicycle racing if you did not break the rules in some way, if you did not dope. We know this. Stop thinking that this is just a theory that only exists in one area. That's the deep state thing where you just want it to be smaller than it actually is. Do you follow me so far? I hope you guys are doing well. So just as Chris Hansen finds predators that didn't actually commit a crime, so too would the FBI find shooters that didn't actually shoot anything yet. But what they would do is they would stage a meeting, and that the meeting would be the exposure, and that they would take the exposure of that and broadcast it on the news to deter other crime from occurring. That's almost normal, wouldn't you say? Wouldn't you say that's, yeah, you could see that, right? I mean, you could. It's hard to imagine it would not be that way, I think. So let me get this. Where's my other slide? Did I close it? So with these things in mind, picture how crisis is a commodity. When you're the elite. When you're the elite, every single action counts, right? Oh, thanks for the dope, D. Every single action counts when you are elite. There are no wasted calories at all. Everything is done in a precision way. You want to win. So you're going to take blood thinners. You're going to eat a weird diet. You're going to wear stupid pants. I'm talking about bicycles now. You're going to wear stupid pants. Some of you are gonna wear diapers. You're gonna like pee on yourself because that's how committed you are. You know, you're gonna shave all the hair off your body because it makes you more aerodynamic. You're gonna do all those things. That's all you're gonna think about. You're gonna obsess over it. And the FBI is the same thing. And when you see an opportunity and you want to go higher in your field, you will take that opportunity and turn it into gold. On July 9th, 2024, President Trump had a 10-foot long skirting in the front of his podium when he was campaigning. On July 24th, so 5 days later, he has a 10-foot long podium in Charlotte where he was speaking. And then a few days later, I'm sorry, this slide doesn't have the date, but please, I've done these slides. I know these are right. But a few days later in St. Cloud, you can look up the rally in St. Cloud to get the date. He has a skirting that's 10 feet long. And then in Butler, Pennsylvania, on the day that there was a assassination attack, the skirting is 20 feet long. And so the one day that there's an attack and the Secret Service surround Donald Trump and he falls to the ground for his safety, it just happens to be that the skirting is twice as long than the not just three prior, but the exact last three gatherings that occurred. These are the last three. This isn't just three that were before. These are the three that occurred directly before Butler, Pennsylvania. So you have a longer skirt than was there before. This is a clue. This is a clue that the elite are trying to utilize every single factor that they can to their advantage. And one of those factors is that what if you get shot? And the campaign manager says, what if he got shot? Let me do that again. Yeah, Trump's going to Butler. We're going to need this, and this. And the security detail's like, that's not enough security. What if the president gets shot? And then the campaign manager is like, what if the president gets shot? Do you see what just happened? It doesn't take much. It really doesn't take much. In fact, it's bona fidely doesn't take much. The Secret Service said to have denied requests for more security at Trump events. Why would you deny more security at Trump events? The Secret Service like, you can't do that. You need to have, there's lots of crazy people out there. And he's like, yeah, what if there are crazy people out there? And then you start to think about this. You've got a guy that's done wrestling. You've got a guy that does NASCAR. You know how the people are. You know where their level is. So you want to talk to the people. You want to reach them, just like I want to reach you. I'm like, James, don't be so positive all the time, James. This is what I have to tell myself. James, try not to say Lucifer. Try not to talk too much about the axes of life itself. Like be careful. And so just as I try and feed the right tone into you, so too would the president and the campaign take every moment that they have in front of the public to be the ultimate crucial important step to either win or lose. And so it's quite easy to imagine how things like this would occur, that, well, no, we don't want security. What do you mean you don't want security? It's like, well, we can't trust anyone else. We can only trust our own man. Why can you only trust your own man? Because we're doing shit. We're doing psyop stuff. We're psyoping and dropping. We're dropping psyoping. Right? That's what we're doing. And so you end up with memes like this because we're not ready to face the truth. The meme being that the biggest, baddest, highest budget security agency on the planet couldn't handle something as simple as a slightly sloped roof, right? This isn't Parkland, but this is the last one. You see what I mean? These things are botched for a reason. These things they're not botched at all. They're executed perfectly. And there's always why did 19 box cutters take out so many planes? Let me do that louder. Do you see what I mean? I mean, you'll always see that it's always due to incompetence. And why does incompetence work? Remember how the emperor wears no clothes? We want an emperor that we think is a fool. So the idea that they blame things on incompetence is really quite convenient because it satisfies a hunger that you and I have for ketchup and mustard type situations, which is they're stupid. We're smart. They're stupid. They're stupid. I'm still mad about this. I know you've seen this slide a lot, but I'm going to cram it down your throat. Put this on my tombstone, Renee. This is the third thing. 3 million honeybees died in 3 hours from a chemical recommendation by the CDC. This wasn't a failure. This is what happens when you let inept people try and capitalize on an event. The governor of Florida at the time owned aerial spray companies that were utilized by the government in an emergency spray campaign that occurred out of Miami-Dade County, in which a single solitary Zika virus was said to be detected, which led to 3 million honeybees being sprayed and over $17 million being spent on the governor's spray company. I've reported this before I started live streaming. That story doesn't get picked up. I'm not a normie. I'm not a normie writer. I'm not going to go in. I'm not going to get put into AP and Reuters. But you know what's even sadder is that a lot of the other truth people aren't going to pick it up either because it's not their stick. It's not in their lane. I do the same. I'm trying to find a certain lane that everyone can rely on and find. So it's very difficult for truth to actually make it out. Who wants to drink the truth of these things? It's harder for us. Who wants to drink the truth? It's Sheriff Scott Israel and Debbie Wasserman Schultz, or the people in charge of these things, or that the mayor of Fort Lauderdale's received a proposal from Elon Musk's Boring Company to build the Las Olas Loop, an underground super speed train. It shows you how prone each of them are, not just to corruption, but just to stupidity. The Miami Herald, the same paper that leaked the Epstein story, the same paper, told you on March 1st, 2022, that for $1,000, a Miami-Dade police employee would run a COVID-19 relief scam for you. There's no debunking this. You're looking at one of the shittiest places in the world and all these bad things that keep happening out of that, and one of them was Parkland. Donald Trump said during Parkland, August 7th, 2019. The internet has provided a dangerous avenue to radicalize disturbed minds and perform demented acts. We must shine a light on the dark recesses of the internet and stop mass murders before they start. And so the FBI is fishing because the FBI has a quota. They want to be considered effective in the world. So they're going to need high quality, high target events that everyone would see on television. Is this coming together? That would showcase what has happened. Never let a good crisis go to waste. Don't you dare. Before we get to David Hogg, let me tell you this. This episode is brought to you by water. Water. Love the stuff. That's seriously my favorite kind of water is water. Nicholas Cruz, disturbed individual, heard voices, terrible home life, mom, total fucking bitch, absolutely insane. All this you can look up. Really disturbed, socially inept, highly emotionally activated. Girls who would be nice to him would suddenly find that they were too nice to him. That kind of thing. He's so impressionable. The cops end up finding this guy. He's very impressionable. He's so impressionable that they're worried about him, but they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do because he hasn't actually committed a crime yet. This gets passed up the ladder to the FBI. I don't mean the Federal Bureau of Investigations. I'm talking about the Florida Bureau of Investigations. It gets passed up that. It's listed in a report that here's someone that has a flag, a red flag. There's something up with this person, but he actually hasn't done anything wrong. And this red flag is found. It's searched. You search this. And if you are looking to promote your career in the FBI, you are looking for these people. You are looking for these berries because you know that there's an op possible, that you're going to be able to profiteer from this event, just like Chris Hansen. Do you follow me? Just like Chris Hansen. Just like it. It's the exact same model. If you understand, you could just turn off. In fact, I'll tell you this one word on your way out. Now just picture Epstein, because I swear to you, it's the same fucking thing. And the difference is that the David Hogg of Epstein is us. All of us are being swept into that story. And there's so much profit from us believing in it that just like David Hogg, we become the accomplices itself, to where this whole facade of reform gets to reveal itself. I said facade, not that it's not happening, but that reform is going to be built on a series of collapses. We reform our way to the top as much as we unreform our way to the bottom. So you have a disturbed kid that you can't do anything with. Someone in the FBI who has a lot of what's the word? Ambition. Thank you. Thank you, demon in my mind that fired those constellations. Someone with a lot of ambition would see this and say, this is a fucking golden opportunity. Miami-Dade is full of political bullshit. Some of the worst lies you've ever seen have come out of that place all the time. I just showed you the Zika virus. This is just one. This is like, seriously, one of the cessiest, pooliest places in the planet. It's why, you know, who lives there. There's a lot of bad shit that happens there. It's natural. You've got an appendage. Anytime you've got an appendage hanging off, just kind of hanging out, weird shit's going to collect. I mean, good stuff too. You know, got a reef there. Yeah, it's got some good stuff going on in Florida. Don't get me wrong, but it's also it's got some slimy. Miami's a pretty loco place. Let's just say that. So all these things are ramping people up into the higher world. This is an elevator. Fort Lauderdale's an elevator. Miami's an elevator. And everyone is utilizing their media, their hype, their news, their style, their fashion to raise things up the elevator, to gain more. So now you have an opportunity where you have a boy named Nicholas Cruz who's a little bit nuts, and you can lure him anywhere. You notice that you can make him go anywhere. You can tell him anything. You can actually text this guy and say that you are a demon. You can tell this guy, hey, this is Sally. We are in the same chemistry class. If you come down to the school today and bring your guns, I will fall in love with you because you will protect me from this violent bully that's trying to kill me. This is all it would take. You would send the text to him, he would put on the guns, and he would come. And when he came down to the school, there would be, just like Chris Hansen, it's not like we're going to take real live kids and dangle them on strings and, dip them in honey and shit. You're not going to do that, right? The first thing you're going to do is get rid of all the kids. So you have a school drill. You have a shooting drill. You have a shooting drill because you're going to bring a shooter to the school, and you're going to bring the shooter to the school because you're going to take him down. And you're going to take him down because you've invited him to the school via text message. When Nicholas Cruz got to the school, he was surprised. Not only was he surprised, but he was surprised because no one was there, and he was looking for someone. You can look at the dispatch on this, by the way. In order to find who he wanted, he then he left the school, he went to McDonald's, and then he went to Dairy Queen. Why did he go there? Because all the kids were not in school. They probably were at McDonald's and Dairy Queen. It's probably where they were. There are eyewitness reports of kids laughing during this event. They're laughing because it's a drill. They're telling you that it's a drill. So the fog of war has collected. Nicholas Cruz doesn't even need a weapon. Do you know why he doesn't need a weapon? Because Chris Hansen is allowed to send a predator to prison, even though there was no minor. That all he did was just have a conversation with a minor over text message. That's all it takes. And when you try and add up how tiny and skinny Nicholas Cruz is, and then you have to add up the fact that he was able to gun down 17 adults and not miss, not even break a sweat, and that after that he was able to go to McDonald's and then to Dairy Queen, he's not hiding. You really understand what just happened. You understand why the Secret Service was there. You understand why the head of security who knows all the kids was asked you could not be in the building. Do you know why? Because we're taking down Nicholas Cruz. They probably told him. But can you understand why they couldn't tell you? They can't tell you this is what they do. And one of the reasons why they can't tell you this is what they do is because when the FBI dopes, when Lance Armstrong dopes, he doesn't care that everyone else is now going to dope too. It's not in his view. It's not in his vernacular, which is when you enter David Hogg. But before David Hogg gets on the scene, you need to consider Kevin Hogg. I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my patrons. There's probably not going to make this episode. And you guys allow me to do stuff. I don't have to worry about this. But in order to understand David Hogg, I need you to understand Kevin Hogg, his father. Kevin Hogg worked for the FBI. He worked for the FBI in San Diego. Now, there's a news report that debunks David Hogg. And if I play it, I think that it'll probably just like, I don't even know if I need to play it. I think that they'll probably have an issue with it. Hang on a second. I'm having some technical things here. I could show you video. You could find video yourself that it's kind of boring, so it's not worth it to you. I just want you to know that that the Hogg family, David wants to be in broadcasting. Hogg chose to attend Stoneman Douglas, that's Parkland, because it offered television production classes. And he did that because in San Diego, he was given a screen test. That for some reason, San Diego's a pretty big place, but the nightly news featured David because of a boogie board. There was some trouble on the beach with a boogie board. And so David was the lead witness. He wasn't even participating in the event, but for some reason, none of the perps in the story were there, but David Hogg was there just giving you the play-by-play of a boogie board incident. And why? Because his father's in the FBI. His father wants to do well, does he not? His father wants to take his elite, how hard he's worked, and find a way to level up. And here is his son. Looks just like him, by the way. These guys are definitely cut from the same. Look, these are the same guy, same genes. And they're working together because they want to help the country. They want to do all the other stuff. They want to do all the things. They want to do all the things. And so the FBI would see this as this is really good thinking. This is fantastic. This is great. But keep in mind, one thing that we fall out of a lot is thinking that each of these organizations is a single-minded entity, and it's not. The CIA has a million different agendas. The FBI has a million different agendas because each of them are not really competing for the truth. None of them are trying to help the country. They're probably just trying to help themselves. They're probably just trying to get a better gig, more commas, more power, more influence, all that stuff. So it becomes quite easy to imagine how this kind of doping could have occurred. And Anderson Cooper's not going to say the truth. That's not his job. Anderson Cooper wants to help. He wants to be famous, so he's there because he's got an epigenetic flavor that requires him be more important. And he can't express how to be more important. The only thing he can do is be a CNN anchor. He can use his name to step in and get that job. So he's not going to say anything. He's not going to go against the grain. Why would he do that? Now that Kevin and David have lied about what's going on, they're screwed now too. They have no choice but to go in there. That's why it says right here that David Hogg is dyslexia, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder from this event. You can't touch him. He's been indoctrinated into the Klan, right? And he'll serve them well. You have propaganda spiders too. Each of us have these propaganda spiders. We look for elites inside of us that we pretend to be our saviors. One of them could be my mod. One of them could be, well, I wanted to leave anyway because it's time for me to grow, but I need an excuse. I don't have enough excuse, so I'm just going to say it's because you're mean, James. It's because you had the nerve to take someone's 16 by 16 pixel wrench away. It's a fucking pixeled wrench. And you're looking at like deeply shitty things said to me because I took that away from someone. Grudges that are held for years and years, where Lorna then goes to other people that have joined later saying, you better watch out, that guy just fired. And the whole time I'm just like, I think she's a lovely person. I think she left because she felt what I just told you before. And I think that's about all of us because we're doing the best we can to figure out that we're surrounded by liars, but we don't really want to admit that. I'm not immune. I fucking lie to myself all the time. You know, I look great in this shirt. I don't need to wash my face, you know, all the time. It's how we feel better. It's how we survive, is what we do. Some of you say every single thing is poison. Everything's out to get you. Everything's doing that. You're doing that to survive. I want you to survive. I do. I want you to learn more. So when you look at Parkland, you're not really looking at these people are trying to do something to you. You're looking at these people are trying to do something for themselves, and you're just looking at a collective pillage. It's a pillage of truth. We've been suffering from a pillage from truth ever since we came out and said, hi, our appetite is one of lies. Do you have any lies on the menu? And the chef goes back and says, we're going to cook up some lies because these people really want to eat some lies. Ultimately, we really are the ones dictating what we believe and what we're told. So when you're watching David Hogg out there, I don't know if you should be mad. I don't know if you should look at it like a chemtrail. I think it's kind of helpful because in a way they're doing us a favor. David Hogg's a horrible actor. I mean, he's horrible. He kind of exposes himself. Debbie Wasserman Schultz just kind of exposed it herself. She showed me. I always thought Florida was great. I had their shit together. No, they don't. They don't. Florida Man is like that's the best thing going for Florida, right? All the Florida Man headlines, that's the best thing going for them. So these things are showing you the way. They're showing you how high up you are on the hermetic ladder. That's really what's happening. And all the psyops that you're able to see through are just golden tickets to the next level. Like Trump skirting. You know, I did post that. I posted on Reddit and they laughed. They laughed at me. They laughed because they said, don't you know that all those people behind it would have seen it? And I said, no, you don't know what's behind Trump. There could be skirting behind there. Why are you saying there's not skirting there? And the answer that they're assuming that something is not there or is there behind them, they have no vision of that at all, is because they do not want to accept the truth that they would fall for a wrestling stunt. That Trump would lay down precisely under that spot and allow the ketchup tube to be squeezed, and that's the only way he could save the country. And that's why you have a smaller Secret Service staff. That's why you call the USSS, the Secret Service, to a school shooting. Guys, why do you have the Secret Service at a school shooting? You have that there because this is a political event. Because on top of the FBI, you have DC. You have the Democratic Party. I'm not talking about I'm from the great state of Iowa. I'm not talking about that Democratic Party. I'm talking about the bureaucracy that has clung itself to the Democratic Party, and that they see these opportunities as a way to move their agenda, because their agenda is how they eat, is how they feed, right? But Trump has those too. Trump has to use Musk. Trump has to use some of the worst people in the world. Trump has to be one of the worst people in the world in order for this to fester. So now, how do you look at Epstein? Because you're going to want to see the billionaire stuff. You're going to want to buy all that stuff. It's so much more tasty than what I'm about to bring. You're looking at a local perp, a sexual predator, Jeffrey Epstein, local perp, sexual predator, has a lot of rich friends, a lot of them. If you want to say it's a Mossad op, that's fine. But I think you might actually be missing that the Mossad op is actually just the dudes running the news. That's the Mossad op. They're the ones that are, when I say running the news, all I mean by that is that they have embedded reporters that are able to hit publish, and that story is just secreted into the AP and the Reuters news service. That's all. That's all the control they need. They know what's spicy. They know how to cook a dish. These are sous chefs. They've trained in the finest culinary institutes when it comes to propaganda. They are looking for the things just the same way the local sheriff notices that here's a guy named Nicholas Cruz who's kind of intense. We need to keep an eye on him. And by keeping an eye on him, he is elevated up as a pawn in the game. Epstein and Cruz were both perfect pawns. They allowed something to occur that was serving something else that had nothing to do with that. So Epstein's a predator. You still get that. He's still a perp. You still get that. Okay? But what you call the temple at Epstein Island, that's a utility building. You don't get that. Those aren't real arches. No billionaire would say, we're going to build a temple, but we're going to save some money by painting some fake arches on it. That didn't happen. The pictures that you see of Epstein with famous people are not shot on Epstein Island. No. They're not shot there. They're not shot there in front of that utility building. These are parties that Epstein was allowed to go to, and they were taken pictures of. That's it. That's it. But because editing is a form of art, and a lot of us are in denial that editing is a form of art, we miss how easy it is to do these things. Here's a local perp. We arrest him. What do you want to do? Lawyer says, hey, you know a lot of rich people. Maybe I can cut you a deal. Let me make a phone call. Calls the state prosecutor. Hey, man, is there any chance at all? My guy's got a lot of money. After all, I'm a billionaire lawyer hired by him. Of course I'm going to seek a deal. Next thing you know, bing, 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 Steve Bannon's calling. Hey, I think we can use this. Under the act of Smith-Mundt, just like Parkland, we're going to say we're going to have a shooting drill. So, too, we're going to have a pedophile billionaire drill. And we're going to turn this person into a much larger story, and we're going to utilize the law of Smith-Mundt to make it possible. Epstein didn't kill himself. It's true. It's real. It's part of his plea deal. We think about the witness protection program working one way because you've never heard someone like me explain to you it also works the opposite. What if I was to tell you that you could protect a witness by making him more famous than he's ever been known to be? That this would be the way to make someone disappear. And the way that he would disappear is that you would say, in exchange for your testimony, a sworn video testimony, a tape which Steve Bannon has in his possession, we know this, he said this, people have confirmed this, of Epstein, that he will not release, that it says, I agree that I will go along with this and say this in order to help the state prosecute someone else. This is called NARC 101. You pull a narc in the room, you say, hey, who's your dealer? I'm not telling you my dealer, you're going to talk. And he's like, I'll never talk, I'm no snitch. He's like, do you want McDonald's? He's like, yeah. And he's like, okay, talk. He's like, So his name's Frankie. He lives behind the 7-Eleven. His sister, she and I used to date, and I tell her I love her. I gotta go to the bathroom. He's not digesting food. He's not even digesting food. Good dude got ripped off. He should have said, I want McDonald's and I want to be able to digest it. He would have won the whole thing because the cops would have been like, oh my God, we have to let him go to the bathroom. He's like, no. I want a test to prove that I haven't digested this food, which means you got to let me off. The second you say I'm innocent, I'm going to digest this food. I just won. Bling, bling, bling. I just won because I know how the somatic body works. That's what I know. I know how the somatic body works. Do you see what I mean? Epstein is elevated because he has something the state wants. And the state wants this. And they start building the narrative the same way you build the narrative around Parkland. How do we get an insider look in here? We send in David Hogg. We sent him in. Dude's never been to school there. People aren't gonna buy this. Oh yes, they will. But they'll know. They won't. We're gonna destroy the building. The whole school's gonna disappear right after this op. Dude, we're going to level the fucking place. We're going to sprinkle the powdered bones of Nicholas Cruz on top of the school, and everyone's just going to smell that. If anyone tries to question this at all, why would they question a 17-year-old pipsqueak who's able to gun down 17 people, can barely get through an interview, can barely pull his cell phone up to show you something? Yet he's able to do all that, and then he doesn't run. He goes to McDonald's. He goes to Dairy Queen. You know why? He's looking for the girl that texted him. He's looking for the girl because he thinks she's in trouble. He thinks she's in trouble, and he's got to go there. Meanwhile, you've got the sheriffs. Everyone's on a shooting drill. You want to make sure the kids have a really good shooting drill, so you walk up in the hall and you just fire bullets down the hall. You just fire bullets. You fire blanks down the hall. Doesn't even matter. But James, people died. I do not know that. I know that you know that. The reason why you know that is because limbically it fucking hit you. You're like, oh God, that has to be. It hit you. It hit you. That's what's real. What's real is the limbic face slap that the wave got you. Go to the tapes. There are girls laughing. I can't find the tapes anymore. I'm so sorry. They've been stricken, I think, because we don't want to see the truth. If you remembered me as an early writer, you might have known. If you go to my old Twitter stuff, you'll see that I've got links to these videos, but the videos are down now. But I swear to you, I'm not making this shit up. It's not even like super incriminating, because it's just girls going, it was a shooter drill, and they called us out, and so we met Sarah and we just went to the park. We were just laughing about it, and it's because they were told it's a shooter drill. They weren't delusional. If you're seeing chemtrails, this is fucked up. They are insane. They're going to kill us all. They're going to take our guns. We have to protect our bump stocks. That's what you're going to think. You're going to think that you have to protect a piece of wood now that you attach to a gun, because that's the only thing saving you from freedom. And that's the chemtrails talking. It's not them talking. It is your anxiety hallucinating itself so that you can see it because it's real. I didn't say hallucination isn't real. You're the one that thought that if you thought that. You're broadcasting your anxiety into the room. You can look at Parkland as a hermetic scrying device, and you can see past the deep state for the first time and just simply see a bunch of fraudsters just trying to help themselves. This is a little bit easier to swallow. More importantly, it's a lot more accurate. I get that we want to picture that there's a bunch of Ivanka Trumps that are pregnant at the same time, dressed as a black ritual bunny, and that they give birth at the same time, right? And those babies eat each other, and the weighing baby is in charge of the Luciferian cult. I'm not going to be able to top that, okay? I'm not. I will try. Read Blueprints of Mind Control. It's pretty good. But I could not hold the vibration that that's how it fucking worked. How it works is fraud. How it works is I want to better myself. How it works is Lance Armstrong's all the way down. All the way down. Bunch of dopers with shrunken balls trying to figure out why Sheryl Crow doesn't like him anymore. That's the secret to it all. I love you. Hey, did you guys, join the Dojo Earth thing? Please do that. Maybe we'll do a stream tonight. I'm kind of practicing, so I'm doing that. So, but you won't know unless you subscribe. Or if you join Patreon for free, you can follow in. We got a call-in link, and you can do stuff like there. So, thank you much. Have a wonderful day. James True. Thank you for the super chats, everyone.